Well, hi folks. February 18th. Still variable weather on the island. Bit of sleet, wind, snow, everything sort of going on at the same time. But it is what it is. It's February and hey, even in bad weather, one of the best places to be is on the island. It's if you've never been to the island, you want to visit one day. It's gorgeous here. What's going on? I was thinking as I'm listening to all the pundits and all the mainstream media, I scan that now and again as well. And I think there's a solution to how we could solve this crazy Wuhan waltz pandemic thing and get it solved very quickly. You know, if we see, a lot of people aren't getting paid. They've lost their jobs, they're laid off, business is shut. This is across the Western world, and there's no money coming in. People who are getting paid are people who are trying to solve the problem. They're getting paid bonuses and extra as well. So if we take the politicians, the bureaucrats, the medical experts who are sort of dictating what the bureaucrats and the politicians do, cut off their salaries. They do not get paid until the problem is solved. Live on your savings and on your investments like the rest of us are. And if you don't have any savings or investments, apply for the $400, $500 a week stimulus. Apply for it. You might qualify and you'll get $400 a week. But keep your ass to the wheel, get your nose to the grindstone and solve this problem, or you're not getting paid. Bet you we'd have this solved in 3 days. Same with the teachers' unions. Teachers, you're not getting paid until this is solved. I mean, I think that would solve the problem very quickly. Think about it. Think about it. Got some links that I'm adding in the description like I always do. And one of the second link, I think, it's Dr. Mercola. He's got a neat article on how the world has succumbed to a delusional psychosis. And, you know, the whole idea, the Chicken Little, the sky is falling sort of thing. And of course, a lot of these people who are trying to solve the problem, they're getting primetime television, they're in the mirror, they're sort of heroes and heroines. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. We're in charge of this thing. They don't want it to really end, do they? I mean, heck, they're full pay with many of them with bonuses for frontline working type stuff. Hey, cut the money and see how fast they solve this thing. It always goes back to the money, doesn't it? For most people. So you'll find Mercola's article, I think, intriguing. And another thing I was thinking about, all the global warming clowns, and because they're starting to build that up again, getting ready for summer, the global warming. Although some they've changed now, it's climate change. And over the last few times I've posted something, we've had links into how the climate, how the earth does change. And it's not just somebody driving to work in their car using a plastic straw that's causing the problems. It's something that happens all the time. Most people don't see that because mainstream media doesn't talk about it. Mainstream media doesn't talk about it. They talk about how great it is to stop the pipelines and to stop drilling and to stop using oil, until you're freezing your ass in Texas right now with no hydro. And of course, all of the mainstream media is trying to convince everybody that it's not the frozen windmills and the solar panels that aren't working, and the batteries that are losing 60% of their energy, the storage batteries. It's not that isn't the problem, it's that the natural gas lines are frozen. And that could be a part of it as well. But it doesn't, even an idiot can see that if you have freezing temperatures, iced windmills, And below zero, no, below freezing weather, batteries lose their charge. Any kid in the farm knows that. You know, so this Green Deal is just that. It's adolescent promises and fictitious thinking. I mean, you want to maybe move to some of that, but you've got to cover your, like we always say, cover your assets, look after your money, but you've got to cover your ass too when it comes to heating and day-to-day life. And so we have, on the island, we have electricity, obviously, and it comes from dams. It's all green energy sort of thing. You know, we had to use a lot of gas in diesel fuel to get it all set up, but it's now Green Deal. We also have natural gas, and I also have a wood stove. So we have covered our asses when it comes to temperature or disasters in 3 ways. Of course, we have hydro. If the hydro goes off, we still have gas. If gas lines go down, we have wood. We have a pile of wood up there. We just light a fire, sit in the garage where the wood stove is, and you're keeping warm, toasting your toast over the flame sort of thing. I mean, every kid in the farm, that's where I grew up, knows how to look after that sort of thing. So anyway, I also have a link. The first link is Martin Armstrong Economics. He's got a beautiful piece on global warming and climate change. And as you scroll on his page, he's got a neat video there too, explaining how the Arctic inversions and all those sort of things happen. And they're a natural thing. They occur. They occur. Like many of you, we have talked about the underwater volcanoes. Etna's sort of popping right now. Second explosion today. And when you look at the pollution coming out of there, how far would you have to drive, or how long would you have to drive to create the same amount of pollution? Nobody ever, the pundits never talk about that. And it's, the people in Italy aren't responsible for that popping. It happens. That's what happens as the world sort of is a living thing, and as it moves and bulges around, same as we do, and we are stretching in the morning, so to speak. So it's interesting. I mean, the underwater volcanoes in the Pacific and through the Atlantic affect the warming, the temperatures of the water. They affect the Gulf Streams and all the weather patterns. They don't talk about that. You have to dig that for yourself. And of course, if you got an education and weren't schooled, you already know that. So Martin Armstrong's link is really, really good. The last link is about the silver scam. It's interesting. I mean, we all know by now that everything is sort of, not only elections are rigged, finances are rigged, everything is sort of, there's a scam dunk going on somewhere. We've really deteriorated to a group of blubbering idiots at the top end who are supposed to be running the show. From the international bankers to our commercial bankers to our politicians, who most of them haven't got a clue about finance. I mean, everything is sort of scattered and skewed. But you'll find the one on the silver interesting. How the hedge fund guys and the banks are saying, hey, be careful. If people buy silver, the price might come up and it's going to hurt our short positions. Everybody has a scam, folks. Everybody has a scam. Well, not everybody. There's some people out there who are just honest people, working, making a living, producing, developing something, and creating to the whole thing. They're not just sort of sitting back on their fat butt in a fancy place trying to scam everybody else who's trying to do that. But in effect, that's what's happening. It's much like the clowns now thinking we're going to tax equity. You own your house, you pay a yearly equity tax on the equity of your house. All brilliant guys come up with that, right? Spend money like drunken sailors, or print money like drunken sailors. I think we should just get rid of the international banks. Tell the Rothschilds and their family family of international bankers, screw you, bugger off. We're finished with this Shylock deal. We're finished with it. Set up our own systems. And I know that for the globalists out there, they lose their drawers when you say that, because we all have to be this big kumbaya thing and keep it going. And you'll own nothing and be happy about it. The twits on the top aren't getting rid of their shit, they're keeping it. You're paying them more money. They want you to be just a serf in the field, a cog in the wheel, and we just work to keep their fat, worthless asses fatter. I mean, it just drives me nuts. But anyway, that's about all for now. I'll check out the links, and we'll see you again. Take care. Bye for now.